Hello everybody. Just trying to get the glaze getting glaze thickness is very much down to experience. You just know when it's just by doing what I'm doing here, get an idea for the thickness. Make sure it's off the bottom. If it's been standing a long time, you want to make sure that the glaze can get stuck down here in the corner. And if you don't stick something down into the corner to get it out, you're not mixing up all the glaze properly. Okay, what we're going to do is I'm just going to glaze a few of these. You saw me make them, you saw me trim them, you saw me wax them, you saw me dip them in iron slip. This little number I made with one hand just to see if I could do it. It's possible, not always successful. Yeah, so we're going to do, I'm just going to do a few of those, and then we're going to go over there to the under the plastic there. I've got some pictures. I've just got to do something to those. Today is the 23rd of April. Happy St. George's Day, everybody. We hear enough about St. Patrick's Day, but today is St. George's Day. So let's just bring this over. Yeah, my parents, was their wedding anniversary today. April 23rd, 1938. They were married. Okay. So basically what we've done is we dip these on the, I dip these on the inside. Okay, so we do this two-way dipping, inside and then outside. And then before the glaze has a chance to dry, I just wipe it off the very top there. Okay, it can look a little bit messy at the moment, but I've just to thin it down, so we don't get a double application right on the top. Okay, so we stirred our glaze. We're now just going to hold it like this, and I'm just going to dip it down. Let's bring the camera in so you can see what we're doing. Ooh, bend it over there. There we go. Right. So now I'm going to be vigilant that I'm going to check the thickness of this, because I want it to be right. So down, and these are just not covering the foot. That's interesting, of course. Why is it doing that? It's resisting, of course, all the way through to the... Hang on a minute. I've done something erroneous here. Oh boy. Don't usually do them like that. What's going on? I'm getting confused in my old age. This here, this is an example of the milky white glaze over an iron slip. So I'm just trying to think. I did something different here. You know what? What's happened is I've got confused because I'm not bisquing. Anyway, just to show you, you can see how the iron is trying to break through the milky glaze that's put over the top of the iron oxide. Alright, this is actually a reasonably nice example of how this can turn out. They don't all turn out, they vary a little bit. This two-way glazing, you know, with a slip and then a glaze over the top, this is the same configuration. This is slightly cooler, you notice. It's got a bit of clay on it, this one. And this one was actually made in, this was made at St. Ives. See, it's got the St. Ives seal on it. So it was made in St. Ives, and it's got in pencil here, Fowey, Cornwall, 1966, written on the bottom there. I bought this second hand from some guy who was selling it. But it's just a classic St. Ives tankard, complete with a scroll, thumb rest, etc. Yeah. Oh boy, what have I done wrong? What have I done wrong? What I did? That was. I'll have to figure it out what I'm doing wrong. There's no point in moaning about it now on this clip, but yeah, I've done something that I don't usually do. I don't think I've done any of these actually since I've switched over to raw glazing with the wax. I've done them with the tankard like this. I've done these, which is with a sgraffito scratching through. These I've also got to dip. I was going to do those next actually, but so, well, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? So this is a typical case of something that went wrong, an accident, you got confused, you know, in the application of a glaze. It happens from time to time. We do it, you know. Maybe what I should have done is dip it in the red iron oxide slip first, and then maybe put the wax on top of the iron oxide slip. Anyway, yes, okay, right, that's okay, we'll move on from there. We'll move on from that one, Simon. You seem to be a bit confused. I know. That was a bit of a shock, that, actually. Hang on, let's bring the camera a bit over this way. I had a bit of clay the other day and I rattled off just half a dozen jugs. Pitchers, I should say. Americans say pitchers, we British, we say jugs. But, you know. So, I just thought I'd show you them. And I've just got to do one more thing to them. These are just simple pictures. These particular ones have got like a decorative thumb impression here, where I pushed it here all the way around when it was soft, and you see the effect that can give you. Well, I've shown you that before, I think. There's another one that's slightly different. Oh yeah, this one is slightly different because this is done with the point of my knuckle, impressing it with my knuckle. Okay. Yeah, these ones I sort of left some of the throwing rings. But what I wanted to do, I wanted to have a rummage in my box. A rummage in my box. Yeah, I've got here, these are all little bisqueware stamps and seals that I've made. They're all just, you know, off the cuff kind of designs. And these are our rolling wheels here. We've done videos on these. So what I wanted to do was run one of these up the back of the handle. It just gives a feature. Just to show you, here's an example of one. You can see there the thumbprint around the base and the running up the back there, the spine of the handle, with one of those roller wheels stamped. So let's just put the camera back on the tripod here. We're going to drop the camera down as well. Wow, I'm very sort of like racking my brain about what I did wrong there with that. I will talk to you about that in the next. Now, I've got here a little one of these guys, a piece of clay, flat, rolled out, and then made into a so I'm going to just impress that, I think, into the. I've got to be a bit careful here, don't push the wall of the pot in. So good idea when you're doing this, keep a finger on the other side of it, okay? Just to save crushing the wall of the pot. Yeah, just a simple sort of zigzaggy pattern. Yeah, very important, keep your finger on the reverse side, because if you don't, for the force that you have to exert, this is a little bit, just a little bit on the hard side maybe. Not really hard, but could be vulnerable to Okay. Now I was wanting to put something up the back of the handle here. So let me see if I can do it in front of the camera. I'm just trying to think. So the handle forms a kind of arch, which is actually reasonably strong, hopefully, says he. Yeah, it just gives a decorative touch. Yeah, you know, a little. Now, depending a little bit a little bit, depending a little bit on the profile, of the handle. Some of them are a little bit more. Some are not as flat as others. They're all a little bit different. So you need to just bear that in mind, because maybe I'll try one which is this guy, which is a bit narrower, just to see how that is. Okay, here goes. Yeah. Don't want it too soft, otherwise you'll. What else have we got? Here's a different one. Let me try this one. Put him down there. Apply some pressure up over the top. Yeah, it's just a little detail under the glaze. Sometimes I do them around the base here, around the base. So the pot, in fact, one of these has got it, I think. Yeah, that guy's got it. You see that there around the base? It's a nice little feature, especially if you left the clay unglazed at the base here. You know, because the way that this is glazed is I do the inside first, and then I hold it by the foot like that, and I take my pouring jug. Imagine this is my pouring jug, and I pour, holding it at an angle like that. I pour the glaze down the side like this, and like this, and like this. That's how we do them. Let's see. I'll do this one again. Incidentally, in case somebody asks me, these pictures were 1 pound of clay, and they were thrown 6 inches tall. Somebody out there is bound to say, well, Simon, they're very nice, but how much clay did you use? So on and so forth. So 1 pound of clay and 6 inches in height. Okay, bit of pressure up over the top there. Yep. Okay. Now wondering about whether I'll do another one with. Maybe I've got something else I can do. Here, my box of tricks. One of the things you've got to bear in mind when you're impressing into clay, especially if you're pressing into the wall of the piece, the surface area of your stamp that you're trying to push in, if it is too much contact area, you don't get a good impression, and you've got to push too hard, and you don't really want to do that on the wall of a pot. Just a thought. So you really want to keep the actual size of the contact area relatively small. No, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to. So They are done. Now what's going to happen to those next is they are going to be raw glazed with, well, I'm going to do them in those two glazes, those two, like those ones I just showed you, like these guys. I'll tell you what the glaze's composition is. This is a handsome glaze. I like this. This is this glaze is 50% wood ash and 50% red clay. 50% wood ash and 50% red clay. You've got to be careful though with these kind of glazes. If your wood ash is not washed somewhat, so you want to wash out some of the lye out of the ash. Otherwise, what it does, it'll run like it's done here. And this particular one, you see, it ran off stuck it to the shelf. Fortunately, we were able to get it off without too much damage, but you can see, you know, and it can leave a horrible mark on your shelf. So that's one glaze I'll probably do these in, and then the other one is this glaze, which is my current adaptation of field glaze. This is a bit more shiny. It's kind of a nice glaze. I kind of like it. It's basically my farmer's field, which I took, and here it is. Here it is in its. That's very much the same ingredients, although this one on the right here probably got more iron in it. How I changed it was, all I did was, this is 100% unadulterated dirt, mud, soil, whatever you want to call it, roots and all, you know, clods of earth from the field next door. And I just simply screened it and applied it directly onto a pot, a raw pot, not bisqued. And that's how it came out at cone 10. Well, you can see it's not quite melted, the glaze, in little spots here. There's some pinhole holing in places, and also actually down. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but down in the bottom there, it's not properly smooth, the surface, which told me that it hadn't quite reached its mature temperature as a glaze, and it could do with me either raising the temperature of the kiln, which I wasn't going to do because it was already good cone 10, or lower the melting point of the glaze. So that's what I chose to do, and I did that simply by adding just a little bit of wood ash, but you know, only about 10% wood ash and about 10% Custer feldspar added to the recipe. It was a little bit arbitrary. I just sort of like took handfuls of it and threw it in the bucket, you know, and mixed it in and just put it through the sieve, the screen again, and that's how it came out. So probably the next time I do it, it won't come out exactly the same because my handful might be a different size, you know. I can't remember exactly the amount it was, but you know what I mean. That's okay. We can we operate a bit like that. I'm not sort of like a clinical potter, you know. Everything is carefully measured out to the finest detail. You know, next time if it comes out, it's going to be a little bit different, maybe. Well, okay, so what? We ain't going to worry about that. Are we? No, we're not. Okay, I'm going to get my thinking cap on. What did I do wrong there? Because that has mystified me. I made a mistake there, but it doesn't matter. What I'll do is I'll go ahead anyway and apply. I'm going to apply the glaze here. There's no point. There's nothing else I can do. You know, they're already done, aren't they? They're made, and I've just got to swallow hard and keep going, keep practicing. Thanks for joining us, folks. We've got a workshop here this weekend. We have 4 people. I could take 6. So we've got two empty slots if anybody's interested in a last minute workshop this coming weekend, 27th and 28th of April. Apart from that, yes, still I'm hoping to get the kiln fired this week, so we'll have some fresh pots hopefully by the end of the week. I'm aiming to fire Thursday, so I better get on with that now. And thanks for joining us. As always, keep practicing, keep learning, don't give up. There will be discouragements, but you know what, there's always a fresh lump of clay. Just get out there on the wheel, smack it on, make another one, get it in the kiln. I'm going to be making, just for your interest, I'm going to be making another kiln, because I'm wanting to make, I've got quite a number of kilns like hanging around. Like here's one, for example. This one actually works, and I bought it actually with a view to using it as a bisque kiln. However, and then I've got another kiln here. This one I was given, and then I got this little small dinky one here, which as far as I know works as well. Even came with a pyrometer and everything. So I think what I'm going to do is, plus out in my kiln shed across the way, over there in that building over there, I've got my regular kiln, plus I've got another 2 kilns out there as well. So as you can see, I've got a lot of these kilns. So what I wanted to do is make another propane gas downdraft reduction kiln, but a much smaller version. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be bringing that into the studio next door. We're going to be butchering it, and I'm going to show you how to turn it into a gas kiln. I think I'm going to take the elements out of it, probably. Not that I'm thinking I'm probably ever going to use them. I'm not really into electric firing. It's a bit sterile. So yeah, anyway, that's just an overview of what's coming up. Okay folks, that's it. Thanks for joining us in this session, and as always, keep practicing, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye now.